Hello and welcome to another episode of the Talking Rangers podcast. Today is Saturday, March 9th. It is episode 23 of Talking Rangers, fresh off the trade deadline yesterday at 3 o'clock. The Rangers are back in action tonight against the St. Louis Blues. Buchnevich will be in a Blues uniform, did not get dealt to the Rangers. The Rangers wrap up a long week off. Their last game was obviously Monday. So we'll be back in action tonight. We got a lot to discuss, breaking down all angles of the deadline as it is now passed and the Rangers roster is set to make hopefully a deep cup run. Joe, how's it going? And good to be back with the game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's going good. It was exciting. A little bit of anxiety the last couple of days of the trade deadline. They weren't playing, so that was pretty much all I feel like Ranger fans were doing was refreshing Twitter to see who we're gonna get, who other teams we're gonna get. So, it's kind of nice though that it's like over and you kind of have an idea what this team is. So you have there's no more questions.
Yeah.
Obviously, injuries can happen, but regarding adding and what you're going to have is like a roster idea. I think they pretty much know what they have, and we can get into how I feel about the deadline. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. It was definitely a long couple of days. It was weird because it felt like Wednesday was the trade deadline, and then you really didn't get much happening Thursday with the Rangers, where other than obviously a couple guys going off the board, and then you go into Friday where for a while that day it was like nothing was happening. There was still no wing, and then they finally ended up picking up a winger and obviously a couple other guys as well, Wenberg, who we'll all discuss. But before we get into all of those guys just in general, what was your overall reaction and how do you feel coming out of this deadline where there's been two different types of deadlines that the Rangers have had the last 2 years, 2022 and then 2023 last year. 2022 was the Vertranos, the Cops, and it was more of a just trying to supplement in a way what they already had, while last year was trying to bring in the superstars. They got the big fish in Tarasenko. They went out and got Patrick Kane. Of course, they also brought back Tyler Mott, but they do that pretty much every year. Then this year it was very similar to 2022. So what was your takeaways from this? Like you went from Gensel, Vetrano, Buchnevich, you don't get those guys, but you end up with Roslovic, you end up with Wenberg, you end up with Ruedel. So what was your takeaways before we get into just some of the general guys?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like from what I saw, Jury kind of was in on everybody. At least that's what they always say. But
Yeah.
I think the overall thing is I don't know if there was a lot of guys like Tarasenko or
Okay, so we are back after just some tech difficulties. So, Joe, back to what you were saying about some of the general thoughts coming out of the deadline 2024.
yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I've had some bad internet lately, but see, hopefully I can stay in, don't lag out. But yeah, as far as the deadline, I didn't think there was as like guys like Tarasenko and Kane were more like veteran top end talent that was available. So I didn't think Drew wanted to go down that road. I don't really think there was anybody like that available, but I also don't think he wanted to, mortgage assets or picks or prospects to get players for like the rental. So I didn't think he wanted to go in that direction. I thought he was going more like bargaining. But I mean, like if you look back at 2022, like I don't think Cop was a bargain though, because they kind of overpaid for him. Like granted, they got to the conference final, but they gave up a second round pick, 2 seconds, and that other second round pick became a first because they reached the conference final. But I don't know. I think he was aggressive. I think he was in it till the end. But Gunsel, I think that would have been the ideal get. Who knows what they would have had to done off the or taken anybody off the roster as far as like Cock or anything. So I don't know if I would have been a huge fan of subtracting current roster players, but they didn't go in that direction. They went more for, like you said, kind of the 2022 approach where you get more like plug-in guys. Because I kind of, after really thinking about it, I think I agree with that more because I think it's better to get guys that you need for a certain position than just guys that are good. Like they kind of
Yeah.
forced. I mean, Tarasenko I think was fine. I think that one of those guys that is more offense, and you can pretty much, it's a good player, so you're going to get him, and that helps your team. But I don't think you can get two good guys that don't really fit a role that you need on the team. And I feel like that's what kind of hurt them last year in the playoffs, where it felt like Kane and Tarasenko, one of them didn't do a role that they needed. They needed more of a guy that was going to be aggressive, shoot the puck, skate with speed, forecheck. And none of those guys really brought that. And that was an aspect where I think they needed like one of those players that like is more of a skill player that is puck possession, is not really an aggressive player. You can get one of those at the deadline, but if you get two of them, I think in the playoffs it doesn't help. So I do think getting more of a need than just a good player is something good. And I also think that like getting a guy that again is younger, like Roslovic, young, like pretty young too. Wenberg, more young, more hungry.
Yeah.
I think can help the team in the long run. And obviously, you didn't have to give up as much. But yeah, what did you think about the deadline?
Yeah, I feel a little bit. I feel definitely similar. Definitely 2022, and I totally agree with your last point there about some of these guys being younger and hungry. You know, Roslovic is very doesn't have really much playoff experience. I don't think he's actually ever scored a playoff goal. And then Wenberg talked about how last year in Seattle he got a taste of playoff experience, and he wants that again. You know, obviously they were in exit. He wants that again. He wants that again, especially in the Garden. Big market, big opportunity. So compare that to last season where Patrick Kane has already won cups. Tarasenko already won a cup. Those two guys, not that they weren't motivated, but they've already been there, done that. And getting them towards the tail end of their career when they've already been there, done that isn't quite the same, I feel like, as similar to Frankie Vetrano and the other 2022 deadline moves where those guys were hungry. They didn't have much playoff experience. They wanted that experience and their play elevated in the playoffs. I feel that's going to be definitely similar here with Rostovlik, Wenberg, and of course Ruedel, who's been around for much longer, but primarily Wenberg and Rostovlik because they're going to be playing a bigger role. Ruedel's really just in that defense depth type guy. But yeah, they're going to be hungry. You hope that elevates their play. And I also think too, they've been very open about this. They didn't want to give up Capo Caco, which is what we heard was in a potential deal for Vetrano or Henrique. They didn't want to give up Capo Caco. They didn't want to give up Perot. They seemed a little hesitant on the first round picks and Offman and all that stuff. But you know, the way you look at the Rangers is they don't have a very deep prospect pool. They've got a solid prospect pool of the guys that are near the top, like Offman, Pro, and those type of guys, but it's not very, very deep. So they didn't really have much room there. And they've also they went all in last year, right? Not that they're not going all in again, but the future of this team, they're in an interesting spot with how they want to use the prospects, how much they wanted to give up, because you kind of wonder where this team, like the direction of this team is headed after this year and beyond. So it's almost like they didn't want to quite put all their chips in the center. As opposed to what they tried to do last year. I just think they wanted to avoid last year happening all over again and hoping more for that 2022 type thing. And look, are there still, you know, would Gensel have been nice? Would Vetrano or Buchnevich would have been nice? Yeah, those are obviously the top guys. But, you know, I think their hope is that Roslovic can potentially be that Frankie Vetrano. Come in, provide a boost, you know, hopefully play well with Mika and Kreider if that is where he's going to be, is slot in up there. He could play top six. He could be also kind of bottom six depth. But at the end of the day, I think this was Drury in a way too, sort of sending a message to the core of this team. It ultimately comes down to Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, Panarin, Igor, even Adam Fox. It ultimately comes down to those guys to perform in the playoffs. That's the bottom line. And I think that's sort of Chris Drury's message here is, Mika, you got to start scoring 5-on-5. You two have to show up in the playoffs. You got to score 5-on-5 goals, especially come postseason. For Panarin, we've seen we've seen him in the playoffs. Outside of that Game 7 goal against Pittsburgh, he's disappeared. That can't happen. And Igor, you've got to be dominant. You've got to be you've got to be what you've been the last 2 years in the playoffs, not what you were earlier in the season. So I think he's also sending a message to the core that, look, we're going to build around you a little bit here, but we're not going to go out there and get the big fish again. So we're not going to give up the farm for somebody like we were doing last year. We believe in these pieces, but it's up to you guys. It's up to the core. And at the end of the day, that's what winning teams are. It's you kind of have a core.
I just want to add in. I just want to add something real quick. Kind of adding on to that is that another reason is, I mean, I don't know if this was like the basis reason, but like, I mean, if you get a good guy, right? But if you tend to look at the deadlines, dude, like how many times does the supposed like big fish
Yeah,
go on to
exactly.
win the Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
A lot of the times these role guys come into the roles that they're expected to play, and that's when you win. I mean, I think that might have been the better move.
Yeah.
Like, but I said he could have gone and get like Gensel would have filled a need of a role, so that
Mhm.
would have been fine with. I just think he didn't want to pay that much. But as far as Wenberg goes, I think they filled a role. A guy that he's going to play his role. That's what I was kind of talking about the Kane Tarasenko, where I didn't really think they had a role to fill, and
No,
they were just playing. I felt like
yeah.
they didn't really fit in well with the team.
Yeah, it was just they were kind of just out there to get the biggest names possible. And the Rangers need, like, just going back to last year, they needed shot first mentality, shoot, shoot, shoot.
They
All
didn't
they
really
did
get
was
it. I mean,
pass.
Tarasenko wasn't really even that. Kane
No,
was not that at all.
no, I know that's what I'm saying, but that's
I'm
the
done. Yeah,
opposite of what their actual need was. Like you were saying, like they
yeah.
need guys that are going to shoot and drive the net. They didn't do that. They
That's
were
what I'm
just
saying.
yeah,
That this could be good because I think you need to target a position of need, the
yeah.
player of need. Get a guy that's going to fit in. Like I don't think Kane fit in. Like he didn't fit in with the chemistry of the team. Tarasenko, I think, did a little, but Kane did not at all.
Yeah, it was just a disaster. The locker room wasn't very strong either, and the last year was kind of just a
Also,
mess
I
the way.
don't think I don't think they had a lot of faith in Galan either.
No, I think they kind of lost belief in
They
him.
gave up on him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, blowing a 2 lead, it was terrible. But yeah, I just didn't think they wanted that again. And look, too, I think in the Rangers' mind, when you look at Gensel, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him because I'll admit we were all on the Gensel train. I'm not going to be that guy now that's going to say, oh, Gensel stinks. But I think the
yeah.
Rangers might have seen what he's done without Crosby. He's not the same player. And that might have been part of their concern is, are we really going to give up everything for this guy? And is he really going to perform well without Crosby? You know,
And
that's
he's only a rental too.
exactly. So I think that was part of their concern as well, not wanting last year to happen again, because last year was a massive, massive smack in the face that led to a coaching change, which is never what you want for a team that's in a win now mode. So my main takeaway is, look, I wanted one of those three guys, but I'm not walking away disappointed. I'm cautiously optimistic. To me, even if they went out and got Gensel, one of those guys, to me, it still comes down to the core. They've got to perform well.
Yeah, I agree.
Mika
If
got to score
Zibanejad,
5 and 5. Panarin's got to show up in the playoffs.
if
Igor's got to
Zibanejad,
continue to be Igor.
if Zibanejad doesn't
It
do
comes down to it.
anything, it doesn't matter who
Yeah,
that winger is.
you could have Crosby there at wing if Saban or Crosby here. If Zibanejad doesn't score, you could have Gensel, whoever it is. If Zibanejad doesn't score, he's not playing well. They're not going to win.
Yeah,
It's
no,
the
I
reality.
agree.
So
We could kind of, I mean, like, listen, they got, like I said, three. I mean, Ruido's probably not going to play that much. Hopefully, everybody, but looking to more so like Wenberg and Roslovic, they got two guys that fill positions in need that can help out roles in the team that you need. They have some chemistry with teammates. I know Wenberg knows a couple of the Swedes.
yeah,
Roslovic knows a couple of the Americans that he like played national
I think
development
it's
program with.
Lindgren and Fox. I think right.
Yeah, so or at least I don't know if he played with them, but he knew them when he was there. I think he said that
Mhm.
maybe he's a year older, but
Yeah. And I think he also knows I believe it's Truba and Wheeler. I think he knew from his Winnipeg days.
yeah, because he was up
So,
in Winnipeg. But
yeah.
so you add all those players. I think the final cost was I think they got those three players, and I think they gave two second round pick, three fourth round picks. So you really have to give them up much. And like I said, hopefully, I'm excited to see what they do tonight. We
Yeah.
can kind of transition into the lineup now. Like, what are your expectations for this lineup? Say everybody's healthy. Like, what do you want? What do you think they're going to go with as far as lines?
Yeah, I think when everybody's healthy, ideally your top six is something like is going to be Kreider, Mika, Roslovic, and then obviously your second line, which has been the same. That's Bread, Trocheck, and then of course Laugh. Wenberg, I think, is the third line. It'll be interesting to see how they rotate Edstrom, Rempe. Of course, you got VZ in there as well. Like, it's going to be interesting to how they rotate all those guys. I could see it being a world where, like we've talked about, I think it might have been the Twitter space. If they're in a series where, I don't know, maybe they're down 2-1, they need a jolt of energy and they need somebody to lay a big hit. It's a physical series. I could see Rempe then coming up for that type of game. I don't know if he'll play every game, I think if
Okay.
they need physicality, they need an enforcer, Rempe would be in there. If they don't need that, then Rempe won't be in the lineup. But I think and I think now too was part of their thought process as well. They needed to, bolster the bottom six. They needed to bolster a little bit of the depth as well, which I thought you walk away from the deadline feeling really good about the bottom six because you brought in Wedberg. You've obviously got Rempe. You've obviously got Edstrom, of course, on top of your third line guys that like Cooley and Kako and VZ, those type of guys as well. And now I know VZ bumped up to the first line there for a little while, but he's primarily bottom six. So the third and fourth lines, they can kind of, specifically the fourth line, they can kind of mix and mash. I think it's going to be really what they need and what Lavalette feels is best. I could see a world where maybe Lavalette and Drury kind of hinted towards this, that it ultimately is up to him. I think Roslovic will play the first line, but I could maybe see a world where he still tries to mix and mash that first line a little bit, tries Kako, maybe tries Roslovic on the third line just to see.
What are the
But primarily, I think he's going to be first.
what are the chances that Kreider and Zibanejad get broken up, or you think it's like next to none?
I don't think it's happening.
No.
I think they're going to stick with him. I think the reason I just don't. I think they brought in these pieces, Roslovic, to just try and help him. I think, and I also think too, that whole message with Drury, I believe, is to Kreider and Zibanejad, like, you have to figure it out. They have to figure it out on their own. In my opinion, that's the way I think they do. Do you see them breaking them up?
No.
I mean, I would probably see I'd see a greater. Yeah, no, I don't see it. I just don't see that happening.
No, I don't see it either.
Um,
I was just wondering. I would, but again, it's kind of like they're too deep into that.
Yeah, and then two, when you go to defense, you're really, you're 8 deep now. Unfortunately, of course, Trouba is out going to be 2 to 3 weeks, so really you can kind of basically just see him back in the playoffs. I mean, he'll come back late March, early April, but it's about at that point it'll be about 7-8 games left, so he's going to miss a good chunk of time, but he'll be back for the playoffs. And of course, you add Ruedel. You've also got Zach Jones, who I believe will be in the lineup tonight. He'll probably be with the Gustafsson pair. So you got those guys. You're deep there. I know some people aren't a huge fan of Gustafsson. And how does that all end up playing out? They rotate there. Miller hasn't been great. So I could see, although I thought Miller played better the last 2 games against Toronto and Florida, and hopefully he continues that. But his whole body of work this year has been terrible. So they're deep there too with defensive. So they're deep. They've got a lot of good depth.
I'm excited though to kind of going back on it is the Kako line. I think that could be a very effective line if he goes and plays with Wenberg and Cooley.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what that line can do. I think it's going to be a very good third line.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Wenberg can do. That third line with Cooley and they've been obviously solid, but we've needed that third line center. I'm really optimistic about what that they can do. I'm really optimistic about what really the bottom 6, the third and fourth lines can do. The biggest concern just remains up top. It's that first line is the biggest concern still. Is what can they do 5-on-5? What can Mika do? And then, of course, even when the playoffs come around, you're still going to have some. Panarin's had a huge year, and I'm not trying to be negative, but he hasn't performed in the playoffs. So you're still going to have some questions about him going into the playoffs. He's got to finally perform. Regular season's great. He's got to come up in the playoffs. But, yeah, third line Cooley. Do you see a world where maybe Cooley takes on like a bigger role? Because I know some people thought that maybe
I mean, I hope he does, but I don't think he will. I think he's just going to stick in that third line. Like, I mean, obviously anything's possible, like barring injuries, but no, I think they're going to keep pretty consistent what they're doing. But I think that someone that we need to talk about is Mika Zibanejad because he has been atrocious. I mean, in his last 5 games, no goals, no assists, no points, and he's a -2. He hasn't scored an even strength goal or 5-on-5 goal. Sorry, I think it's like 77 days.
Yeah, something like that. Well, it was 70. It was 74 when we did the Wednesday space after Wenberg was traded.
Yeah, so 77 days.
77 years because today's
77
Saturday.
days since he scored even strength goal. That's like I think 30 games or 29 games at a 5-on-5 goal for first line center. Like ridiculous.
Yeah,
he's getting paid. Dude, he's getting paid $9.5 million to do nothing, play good defense, and that's it. No,
that's occasional power play.
That's a third line center. Third line
Yeah.
center is the guy that you want good defensively that doesn't really bring much offense. I think he's making like whatever he's making, $9 million center, first line. That guy's got to be producing, especially 5-on-5, because in the playoffs, if you don't score 5-on-5, you're not winning.
Yeah.
As we talked
Yeah.
about it, you could see from last year in the playoffs, he didn't do anything. That's
No,
really
yeah.
wrong.
Well, that's the problem with the Rangers is forever they've been so reliant on the power play. But
Power play's not even doing good anyway right
no,
now. So
which is why I try to flip it into a positive
you
because
could, because they're
they
still winning
went to the
games.
10-game win streak without
Mm.
the power play
It was
got a little
bad.
bit better, but it hasn't been what it usually is for the Rangers, where their power play is unstoppable. But they won those games with 5-on-5, even with Mika not scoring. So I'm still trying to tell myself that if Mika gets going, this team could be
do you
unstoppable.
see that happening though? I mean, like
What, Mika getting going?
at
I
what
mean,
point? I mean, at what point it's just this is him?
he's look, to me, they have to prove it because every year they'll occasionally go through these stretches. They have to prove it. At the end of the day, you got to get when you're in the playoffs, you got to score 5-on-5. If they don't, they can score.
Listen, he's got 5 on goals, dude. In
Oh yeah, this year, right?
61 games. I think he's missed a game. I think he was against the Blues. He's missed one game, 61 games, 5-on-5 goals. That is horrible.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible.
He
He's been
doesn't
awful.
even look to shoot the puck. He never shoots ever.
Nah, his confidence is in the toilet. He doesn't have confidence.
Where's the Mika?
He wouldn't hit an empty net right now.
Where's the patenting one timer on the power play either? Doesn't do that anymore.
No, but
like I don't even notice him 5-on-5 offensively at all.
No, he's not. I don't care.
Nobody,
I don't care about the defense. Great, you're a first line center. I couldn't care less about your. You have 19 goals this year. 19 goals. What are they? 14 of them power. You haven't scored a 5-on-5 goal since December 23rd. Christmas happened. It was 20. You haven't scored a 5-on-5 goal this year. Just to put it simply, 2024 he hasn't scored a 5-on-5 goal.
Dude, they might get to
defense. To me, it's great.
He might get to 3 months. I think. He might get to 3 months.
I mean, yeah, he's shown no signs. Like that's the point. Like he has shown no signs of bouncing back because there hasn't been any times where that first line has had consistent, pressure in the offensive zone recently where maybe Mika's hit the post or hit the crossbar. Like there hasn't been any times where he's been really, really close.
He's not
maybe
even
a couple
chances.
times, but yeah,
Dude,
there's nothing. He's not generating anything. So
they don't have a guy in that line that can forecheck either.
Yeah, well, it's the concern, and hopefully this lights a little bit of a fire under them. That Roslovic is here, not necessarily that, but they gotta pull the entire core into a room and tell him like this is it. Mika, they're never gonna move him, but look, the optimistic point of this hopefully is he figures out a way. I mean, the guy he scored 39 goals last year. Like it's not like he's washed. He's I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. He's just not good right now.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's what's concerning is it's not a slump because a slump doesn't last months like this.
The whole
it's
season.
Been the entire year, really.
Yeah, he had like one little spurt.
I mean,
maybe December, at the end of December is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably he'll probably score 25 goals maybe this year.
Dude, I don't even know. I mean,
he's got 19 now.
19.
They've got 20 games left. He's got 5 goals maybe the next 20 games. Yeah. 25, 26 goals. That'd be the lowest goal total since 2018 season.
You think that it's more realistic?
Where he missed 10 games that year.
Is it more realistic that that he gets 25 goals or that Lafreniere gets 60 points, which would be he would need a point a game for the rest of the year?
Lafreniere 60 points easily.
You think there's a better chance he goes a point a game the rest of the year than Zibanejad 6 goals?
Yeah, because Zibanejad's been non-existent. Lafreniere's been hot.
Yeah, he didn't get any points last game.
He didn't, but
he had 3 the day before.
What is Mika though?
He's got more goals.
I don't know. Maybe Mika. I mean, he hasn't scored since the Devils game.
Like that was like a fluke goal on the power play. It's a super fluky goal. He hasn't done anything in the last 5 games.
The really
and
last
somehow
big goal Mika had
and
was the
they
with the
and
Stadium.
they've lost 3 out of those 5 too,
Yeah,
which is another indicator of how important he is.
yeah, and that's look that's the thing is it'd still be a concern even if the Rangers went out and got Gensel. Like Mika just has to play better. I don't necessarily know if it's so much trying to play alongside him and unlocking him, but he's just not. I don't know. He's overrated right now. I feel like he's overrated this season at least. And and,
Just a little
and
just in general, he is.
I'll say
I think the
this.
Rangers overrate him.
Yeah, I'll say this about Mika. He's been a good Ranger. Obviously, he had the 40-goal season in 2019-2020. Was, technically 40 goals last year. He'd 39. We'll just round it up.
Yeah.
Technically 39, 40 goals, whatever. Who cares? But
Last year, right? Last year?
yeah,
He
39
had
last year.
yeah.
hmm He had the great 5-goal game against the Capitals just before COVID, all that great stuff. But if people are allowed to criticize him, I find it funny whenever there's 2 guys on the Rangers that you can't criticize. It's Igor and Mika, or else people in the fan base will go crazy. If you criticize Igor, when people would criticize Igor during his rough stretch, and you'd get attacked for it. You're not allowed to
Yeah.
criticize Mika either. It's Mika and Igor. If you criticize Panarin, criticize Kreider, you don't hear anything. It's like, oh yeah, that's true. But for some reason, Mika and Igor. And Igor has been great, so I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying when he was struggling, those are 2 guys on the Rangers that some people in the fan base are won't criticize. They're so prestigious. Like this guy that hasn't scored a 5-on-5 goal in 77 days is so important. We can't say a bad thing about him. Watch out. Can't hurt his feelings.
I got something here though. Is Mika March canceled?
Yeah, it's over. Never even began. Who were we kidding? We actually thought he
Yeah,
was going to do something this month.
we're
The
we're
guy
we're
didn't. The guy went January and February without doing anything.
we're not
Just
we're 9 days into Mika March. No points.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Wenberg and Roslovic. Add a Ruedel in there too. They're all going to score 5-on-5 goals before Mika. Zach Jones will
Yeah.
too. Put Zach Jones in there tonight. 5-on-5 goal.
Anybody but Mika.
Anybody.
What if he scores 5 today? And we'll just all shut up.
Yeah, please. I want that. We want this team to win a cup. We're all rooting for him.
Yeah.
But right now, if Mika doesn't go the whole playoffs without scoring a 5-on-5 goal, this team's a first round exit.
Oh yeah, no. If he doesn't score in the first round, if he doesn't score in a series, we're losing that series.
Yeah. Unless
Doesn't
the
matter.
Kreider
Doesn't
just
matter.
takes over in the net goblin.
Doesn't matter. Want an example of that? Last year, Kreider
Yeah,
had 5 goals.
that's
Igor
true.
played out of his mind, and we still lost.
Who are you?
You know
Are
what
you
though? Actually, you know what though? They need one of Panarin and Zibanejad, I think.
Yeah, I'm
If you
more
can get
concerned about.
you need 2 of Kreider, Zibanejad, and Panarin and Igor to win a series. But I think out of all those players, I don't think there's a hot take. If all of them are at the best of their game, I want Zibanejad. I think
to
he's more effective than Panarin, I think.
to get hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it
But
also just unlocked that first line.
they need 2 of those guys to play good in the playoffs or in a series to win that on top of Igor playing well.
Yeah, the group of Kreider, Mika, and Panarin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. It comes down to the core of this team. So
And like we saw last year, it doesn't matter how good one of them is. If you don't have more than one guy producing, can't win. Doesn't matter how good your goaltending is either.
Yeah, look, the reality is, since the letter was sent 6 years ago, they kind of built up a core. They have the core. You got to go out and win it. It's like you mentioned, very rarely do they usually only assist. Very rarely do a trade deadline move actually is the reason a team wins the Stanley Cup. Like where a guy just puts his team on his back and just goes all the way. It doesn't happen often. The trade deadline, I've always said this, is to try and find just compliments to your roster. It's not supposed to be, we need to bring in this guy or this.
Yeah,
It's not supposed to be like free agency. It's supposed
I
to
saw
just
some
be
guy say this quote, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. Kind of you're saying is that if you're trying to make your team a contending team at the deadline, if you don't already think your team can contend, then you're not going to win.
Totally agree. Yeah, that's so true. There's been a couple examples of other New York sports teams trying to do that. where they try to make their team a contending team. I mean, I know this is hockey, but just go back 2 years ago with the Yankees in 2021 when that team was terrible. They were out of the playoffs or barely in the playoffs. They were awful, and they tried to make them contending by going out there and bringing in Rizzo and Gallo, and it blew up in their face. I mean, Rizzo's been good, but Gallo blew up in their face.
Yeah.
Same thing kind of last year with the Rangers. They were contending, but they just
Didn't add the right pieces.
Yeah, they didn't. And so it's got to be who do you have back to Mika here because we kind of got off track there, but back to Mika and then the Panarin. Who do you trust the most to come through this postseason?
I'd still go Zibanejad. I haven't seen
You
a
trust
Panarin.
him the most to turn it around?
I haven't seen
Really?
anything in it. I haven't seen anything in a Panarin in the playoffs where I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna play well.
See, I still think it's Panarin, but Mika hasn't done anything. He isn't doing anything right now.
But he has a track
Like
record.
I'm talking like
I
this.
guess you know what though. You can't really say one postseason give him a track record, but still, I think he was okay in 2017 too. But at least I know he can do it. I don't know if Panarin can do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know he's a
I still
great
think Panarin
he's a great regular season player.
No, yeah.
Show me you can do it in the playoffs. Show me you can get a big moment in the playoffs. That's not a power play.
He's very lucky he scored that game 7 goal, or else.
I was also on power play too. It wasn't even 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm. But he's very lucky that went in, or else we'd view Panarin
We'd
way
hate
differently
Panarin
in the playoffs. I mean, who knows? They still might have went on and won that game, but that doesn't matter. It's 2 years ago now. Either way, so then is Kreider like in the middle? Then you trust?
Yeah, I mean,
Mika the most.
I trust Kreider probably the most.
Yeah,
He's the guy that I trust to be the most consistent
he's
because I
also the
think
most experienced.
he's been through a lot more playoff series, a lot more playoff years with teams, has a lot more experience, but he seems like a player that always comes through. Like I don't know. I don't think Kreider's ever played bad in the playoffs.
No,
I mean, obviously he's a little bit streaky. I'll give it like if you want to have a knock on him, but last year he was unbelievable. Scored like a lot of power play goals, but who cares? He had like 5 or like 6 goals, something ridiculous in 7 games.
Yeah.
He was good all through the playoff in 2022. He was good against the Penguins. And then he was elevated. Once Zibanejad started playing well, he was really good, but he was still good prior to Zibanejad sucking the first couple of games. He was really good against the Hurricanes. I thought he had a bunch of big goals against the Lightning, even though you lost that series. And then if you want to go back to 2017, I thought he was solid in that playoff run. 2016 was short. I don't really remember that one that well. Had some big goals in 2015. Obviously had that goal that tied the game in Game 7 against the Capitals. What goalie pulled. You remember that? Or were you too young for that?
I remember it. I probably saw it if seen it over video.
He's had a couple big time goals in the playoffs. Like in 2014, they lost in overtime, but in game 3, they were down at the end of the game, and he scored with like seconds left. So he's a clutch player. I don't know what problem with Kreider. Kreider is not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is going to stem from Zibanejad and Panarin.
You know what's funny is you know that plane picture?
Which one?
The one of the Rangers. It's all of them. It's like I forget where it's on Twitter. It's like all over X.
Like, is it the one with like Zuccarello in it and like that team?
Yeah.
I've seen that.
It's funny. Like just from play, like he's been around for a while.
Yeah,
it's funny how he's the only one in that photo still left.
Yeah, he's so old.
Yeah, he's been around for a while.
He's almost 30. I don't know. Is he 30?
He is. He's 30. He'll be 33, I think, in April.
No. Dude, get out of here.
No, he'll be 33 in April.
No, he's not that old. Get out of here.
I swear.
Way.
I swear.
Dude, Kreider's like 29, 30.
No, he's 33 in April.
Holy shit.
See, I'm telling you.
Dude, that's on me.
That is on you.
What is that? Zibanejad, maybe?
What are we doing here? Can't score 5-on-5 goals. Can't get the ages right.
Okay, there was Zibanejad. He's 30, turning
Mika's
31.
much younger. Yeah. What is Mika?
He'll be 31 going into the playoffs. Born in April. So
their birthdays are 12 days apart. Yeah, Mika's the 18th. Kreider's the 30th.
That's not a shock. Can't get any more closer to each other. So
you know what's funny though?
What
is Mika actually entered the league? I believe before Kreider, because I think Kreider was a year later. Mika was 2011.
No, I think Mika also came in 2012. No, like 11, 12.
Yeah, 11, 12. Kreider came 12, 13.
No, Kreider was there in 11, 12. He came in the playoffs though. Yes, yeah, dude. Yes,
I don't
yes,
believe that.
yes. He played that playoff run. I'm telling you right. I'm looking that up. I'm telling you right now. He was in that playoff run. He played against.
Yeah, all right. You are right about that.
He scored his
He
first
didn't
ever.
play the regular season. That was what I'm saying.
No, he also didn't. I don't even think he played the regular season after that.
Well, he played the regular season in 2012, 2013. He
Did
played
he?
like 20 something games.
He
Yeah.
barely played though.
Yeah.
I know that because Tortorella hated him.
Yeah, he barely played that year. Mika, I'm saying he played regular season games in 2011, 2012. So he
Yeah.
technically came in
And
earlier.
I think they played against each other in that series in
Yeah,
2012.
it was Ottawa.
But he scored his first goal in that series. It was Kreider's first like professional goal.
Mhm.
Did
But
that
yeah, I mean, and here they are. Now they've
yeah. Now they're both not scoring.
Roslovic, I'm telling you, he's going to be the MVP. He's going to be the playoff hero.
We gotta overhype him though. Like
Oh,
he's gonna be sick. He's gonna be sick.
he's going to be awesome.
He's gonna be like
Him and Wenberg are going to, I mean, Ruedel.
no, Rudel's gonna be filled too. You think what do they got? 20 games left, right?
Yep, 20 games starting. Final 20.
Um
Reality
you think
setting in, like, it's here. The playoffs
is
are here.
You think Kreider's a lock for 40? You think he's gonna get 9 goals?
Uh,
I hope he gets 40.
yeah. I mean, he's had a good stretch recently. I mean, he scored. I know he scored obviously Monday. He scored against Columbus, the game they won after they broke the streak. And I think he had the goal. He had the goal against the Devils too. So what is that? That's like I think that's what 3 goals in like the last 6 or whatever.
5 maybe?
5. Obviously, then he had the hat trick too against Montreal. That was earlier in February, but
Yeah, I mean he's been fine. I
yeah.
don't have a problem with him. Like
No, I'm saying like in terms of just
yeah,
what
no, I'm
he's
just saying like
doing recently, if he
we
continues it,
know what he is.
yeah,
We
I think it's possible
you're
he hits 9 and 20.
he's a very consistent player. I'll give him that.
Yeah. I'd
I
say it's
mean,
probably more realistic to say 37, 38, 37,
it's like
maybe 6 more. But
7 more.
I mean, that's still top last year. He had 36 last year. So if he hits 37, that'd be more. But look, I mean, he's already put up over 30. He puts up 35 or 36 again. We're gonna that's what he does.
And going back to that, I was wrong, but I don't know his age, but that's pretty good for a guy who's like 33.
That's
So
great. Yeah.
33, maybe he scores
How much
33
left?
goals.
How much do you think he's got left in his tank?
He's got a lot left
A
for
lot
what
left.
he is. He plays a very sustainable game
Yeah.
because he's such a soft player, so he doesn't ever get into like physical.
It's the
He never
one.
gets hit. He
Yeah.
never gets hit. Never hits. So
Yeah.
he can sit
Who
in front
else?
of the. He can sit in front of the net as long as he wants.
Yeah. Who do you think is like an underrated potential playoff performer, minus the guys we were talking about? Somebody that like you're fired up to see in the playoffs,
All right. I'll give one, then you give one.
and then we'll do goal scorers. This would be a perfect segue.
Will Coley.
I
He's
was
gonna
gonna
be
say
grind.
Foley.
He's gonna be grinding the fuck out of the other team down low, in front of the net, getting garbage goals. Will Cooley.
I was gonna say Cooley.
Well, I said it. So
I don't really know. I don't know really know if this is underrated, but just putting it out there.
are you gonna say
Like
Hemi
he's got the
Veazey?
clutch gene. No, not him and Beasley.
Ah,
Lafreniere. I could see him like arriving this
I don't
playoffs,
know. I
like
don't see
just
that.
dominating.
I don't know.
Dude, he's got the clutch gene.
I don't know. He'll probably get so many chances, and we'll probably be like fucking screaming at the TV. Like,
Probably. Hemi Veazey?
I
He's
thought
in
you
the
were saying
lineup.
Hemi
Yeah.
Veazey. Imagine he
Of
scores an
course, Hemi
OT
Veazey.
goal.
That's not he's not underrated. If Hemi Veazey's not underrated, he always performs.
Dude, he's potting an overtime goal. Obviously, that I hope if I could choose anybody on the team to score an overtime goal, it's him.
Game
Him.
7, Stanley Cup overtime winner. VZ, you're
Him
taking VZ.
Yeah, VC for victory.
I'll be honest. Yeah,
Victor,
who would I
what would be the
take?
call? Like,
VZ would be nice. I would go somebody
Sean
different.
McDonough's. I hate Sean McDonough, but his call would be like, "Oh, Jimmy VC in overtime." He's so bad.
He's terrible. Dude,
I miss
you know what
I
I
miss
can't stand
Doppelganger.
about the broadcast on ABC
What?
is the
Oh,
camera
wait,
angles.
I was just gonna say when it's like in the middle of the play, but they're showing someone like going to the bench.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Dude, that's so
It's
funny.
terrible. Who would I like to see? Panarin's an obvious one because it's just Panarin.
Panarin would be the most unobvious one.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's obvious, but like somebody I would want to score the game 7 goal.
No. Oh, you're saying to score the goal. Oh, I thought you meant like someone that would score the goal.
Like to be happy for him, to like want to see
Oh, yeah.
somebody score the goal. It'd be Panarin because he's
Chesty.
yeah, Shesty, yeah, Shesty,
Dude,
yeah.
he's
Lafreniere
got,
would be cool.
dude, wait, he's got the same amount of
Like,
he's got the same amount of multi-point games in the playoffs as Jack Hughes.
he's him. Jack Hughes, trash. I'm just kidding. No, Lafreniere or Capo would be my top because it's like for like they came in high draft picks, they didn't pan out right away. For one of them to score the game 7 goal in overtime of Stanley Cup playoffs,
yeah.
like it would be just
Like,
it would be awesome for them.
He's a bust. Well,
especially Kakko because I think Kakko's getting more the bust labels than Lafreniere.
You flip him off with the ring finger with the Stanley Cup ring on it.
Finger. Ring me. Do the Aaron Donald.
But Capo Kakko version.
Yeah, that'll be better. So they got 3 games coming up probably until our next recording because they play then again on Thursday. St. Louis tonight. Let's go goal scores. Who you got?
All right, this is what we're gonna do today. Okay, we're each gonna. Since you're letting me choose first, I'm choosing the person for you pretty much. I'm gonna go Roslovic.
And you're taking give me Wenberg then.
Yep, I'll take Wenberg.
All right, Devils on Monday. Who knows who's going to be in net for them? Dude, the Devils literally replaced their goalies with the same skill level. Like they did nothing. First.
Yeah,
maybe. Capo Kakkonen. We got 2 Capos in this tri-state area now.
Let's see. I'll go Artemi
for Monday. I'll go Monday. I keep saying Mika for some of these because like at some point he's got to score a 5-on-5 goal or just a goal. But Monday I'll go.
I say we should ban Mika from.
Give me Trocheck. I don't think I've picked Trocheck in a while. I'll take Trocheck on Monday.
Let's ban Mika though
right,
from this.
We'll ban Mika from
until he scores. A
5-on-5 or just scores in general.
5-on-5.
So we're never going to pick him again.
We may never pick him again. Yep.
Till 2024 first game, Mika. Let's see. All right, you could pick him for
the playoffs after. If he gets to that point, you can pick him.
Yeah, playoffs. Tuesday against Carolina and Jake Gensel. No, you better believe Gensel's scoring. You know Gensel's scoring that game.
But obviously that's a given. You want me to go?
Yeah, I'm saying for the Rangers because we know Gensel's for the Carolina. Yeah. That's a free point.
I'll go Capo Kakko.
I don't even know who's going to be on that bottom 6. I would go because they're mixing and matching. I would go maybe, who has scored forever? Like if he's playing as Gaudreau, like that at some point, right?
He's got 1 goal this year.
1 goal. I'll go Lafreniere. I'll go Young again. I'll go Lafreniere. I could see him going through a little bit of a dry, not scoring the next 2 games, and Carolina scores.
So we got the new guys.
Guys tonight.
The 2 drivers, the big scorers on our team, Trocheck and Panarin.
Yeah.
And then the kids.
And then kids, yeah. Perfect theme. We predicted this. We did that purposely.
Exactly.
All right. Now, Ruedel, when's that happening?
Before Zibanejad.
We're taking a Zach Jones goal tonight. Bet the house on Zach Jones scoring today.
First goal scorer.
First goal. Anytime. First goal. Yeah, that's good. Dude, that place would erupt if Roslovic scores and then 2 minutes later, Wenberg scores.
You remember
we're winning the Stanley Cup then.
Remember Tarasenko got the first goal last year when he came? That was pretty electric.
We're gonna. I'm telling you, we're gonna win. The Stanley Cup run is gonna be over. We're gonna win this cup if they 2 score tonight. It's gonna be it's over.
Imagine they score.
Just ship it to us.
Imagine if they score back-to-back shifts.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine if they 6 goals, 2 hat tricks from Wenberg and Roslovic.
That'd be insane.
That'd be. We're asking way too much. That would Roslovic this year. I think has scored 6 goals. That would be cutting his goals in half in 1 game.
Yeah, that'd be a third of his goals.
Yeah,
Or no, it'd be half his goals.
Yeah, half his goals. And Wenberg, I think,
But
scored
like,
9,
yeah,
right? So it would be a third.
or yeah, what he would be at third of his goals.
Yeah, it would
Like
be
after,
12. Yeah.
So he would have 9. So yeah, that
Mhm.
would have been a
Well, then
third of
he
his
would have
goals.
12 afterwards. Yeah.
No, he's got 6. You're saying he
Wenberg. Oh,
scored?
I'm sorry. Roslovic would have 9. I'm talking
Yeah.
Wenberg would have 12.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And then they'd also have more 5-on-5 goals than
It'd be
who?
yeah,
5-goal performance? Roslovic, maybe?
maybe.
It's possible. Anything can happen. 6
Except
goals.
all right, wait, I got one more here. I posted on Twitter. More likely a breakaway goal, a Zibanejad 5-on-5 goal, or one of the new guys scoring.
You know what's funny? I think Zibanejad might actually score before we score on a 5-on-5. Like it really might happen, or before we score on a breakaway. We
What
do
if
like
that
the amount of breakaway goals is
wait, wait.
infuriating.
You know what we need to do to break the curse is we need a breakaway
Breakaways.
Mika 5-on-5 breakaway goal.
That is
That's
true.
gonna that's gonna break it.
Yeah, that'd break you both. The
It will
perfect
like
balance.
it will break like the floodgates. He'll start scoring like crazy. That's what we need.
It'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Exactly.
You would knock out. What about like Roslovic assist? So he gets his first point as a Ranger. Mika 5-on-5 goal, and it's a breakaway.
There we go. And then it may be a good like cheering on the bench from Wenberg.
Yeah, Wenberg. Like, yeah. Yeah. Like Wenberg does like a good cheer. Yeah.
Like they have like the cam of him celebrating on the bench. I think
Mhm.
that'd be a good addition to that play.
And Ruido up in the boots, like doing something
Yeah,
like dancing
Burrito's
on
like
the
clapping
table.
in the press box.
Yeah.
I don't know who else would be in there with him. Like probably like
Probably Truba, maybe.
Brzezinski, Trouba. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think
No,
Hedel
he
like
puts Ruido with he takes Truba's captain off of it, takes the C logo off of his like jacket and it puts it on him.
on
Puts
Rubios?
Ruido's a captain, dude.
You think Hedel like will return to like be with the team during the playoffs? Like not to
Hedel,
play. But, like you think
like to
players?
watch.
Yeah, because I assume he's in Czechia.
Yeah, I think he's overseas now.
I'd return. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It's probably hard for him to watch though, knowing that he can't be there and help out his
Yeah,
team.
yeah. I don't know if he would do that. I don't know. I mean,
Would you?
if I was in Hedel's situation, probably, yeah. I would probably come back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it might make you kind of
That would
upset, but
sting, dude. I would want to be there for my teammates, but I would be so sad.
yeah, I mean, I would. I don't know. I don't really know what what his whole schedule is right now. Like, if he comes here, he would have to almost, if he's rehabbing still, like, he would almost have to rehab here then and be
Yeah,
kind of
that is
weird for
true.
him.
I wonder if he's skating.
Because then he could be here for, I mean, ideally, he'd be here for a long time. He'd be like a month and a half, right? All the way until June, 2 months.
Yeah.
Potentially if they go all the way. So yeah, but I don't know. It'd be kind of a big jump. I mean, he might be doing it. He might have it all figured out if he does want to come, but it stinks. It stinks with Hedel. Wenberg's good, but Hedel's just he does a lot of really good things. Really what this team needs, unfortunately, but is what it is. He's been hopefully
I agree.
health's over everything. So, but yeah, you think he'll come over?
Probably not.
Yeah. Most of like Wheeler, I don't know. He might. I don't know where
Wheeler will because he lives here.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think there's any chance he? Probably not. No.
If they make it like to the conference final, maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't throw him out there though because he's injured and he's already slow enough.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, Eastern Conference Finals, if you've got something going with Roslovic and all that, like there's no need to bring him back.
Unless someone goes down.
Yeah, or they're just playing like garbage. But if you get to the Eastern Conference Final, they're not going to be playing like garbage. So
it was kind of like Blay, where like he
Yeah.
tore the ACL, but he was like skating with the team in the playoffs, but he was never going to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Still a lot of season left. It's like a new regular season starting. He's getting that time where this is almost like September right now. We're just like a month away. I mean, April's still regular season, but end of April's playoffs. So should be exciting. Any other closing thoughts?
I'm excited to see the additions tonight. So yeah.
Yeah. Always exciting. Should be a good buzz in the Garden tonight. So hopefully pick up a win. Buchnevich, he's scoring.
Probably.
He's definitely gonna score. So that should happen. And Yeah, Igor and Net, thanks for watching. Let's go Rangers, and we'll catch you in the next one.